Hey guys, Juan here. I'm just gonna share with you how I invested my next $1,000. If you've been watching some of these videos, thank you. I really appreciate it. If you end up liking these videos and you haven't subscribed yet, just smash that subscribe button down bottom to support the channel, support Mike and I. That would be freaking awesome of you guys. New setup for me. I hate that Ken Griffey is right down the middle, but Ken Griffey's right down the middle. I got a couple autographs up there now. A Bronson Arroyo getting his glove slapped by Alex Rodriguez of Game 6 of the 2004 ALCS. Some Ken Griffey Jr. And on this side, Jason Varitek. So, starting to spruce up the place a little bit. Made a little man cave up here. But back to the point of the video, I invested $5,000 earlier. You can go back and check out that video, see how I initially invested my first $5,000. I am a true beginner. I am not a financial advisor by any means, but I would like to document and share what I've been doing and hopefully bring some sort of value to somebody who may be scared to really dive into the stock market, because the stock market can be scary, or it has that aura, right, of being scary, when in actuality it's really not. Stocks typically go up if you pick good businesses, and people just freak out when they may dip like they did in March. When, again, if you are being smart about it, particularly if you are a beginner, and start investing in businesses that can overcome things like that have happened in this world, then you should be okay. You just sit on it and relax and just let the market be the market. But let's dive into my next $1,000. So the biggest chunk of that $1,000 was dedicated towards Draftkings. Just short of half that capital was towards Draftkings. Draftkings just recently went public. They went public on April 24th of this year. I dove in on that very day, and I ended up buying 25 shares, a click under $20 a share. It ended up being about $19.58 a share is what I ended up buying Draftkings at. And the reason why I bought Draftkings is I kind of have an interest and a passion for the gambling world. I love it, and I'm not even like a huge gambler. I do go to Vegas a lot, but last time I went to Vegas, I gambled like $180 on the blackjack table. Outside of that, I love Las Vegas just for relaxation, vacation. It's one of my favorite cities in the entire country. But I love the atmosphere. I think it can bring a lot of value for people. It can also be the demise for a lot of people as well. I'm not ignorant towards that. But I like Draftkings. I think they're first to market, and this is their advantage. They're going to be first to market with this app, and they're going to have one of the best apps out there in terms of the infrastructure of the app and being very, very user-friendly. You're going to be able to bet on sports. You're going to be able to play casino games like blackjack and poker, and maybe some slots on there. And the more states that allow online gambling, the bigger Draftkings, in theory, is going to get, until there's like a direct competitor, which I'm assuming there will be a direct competitor eventually, because it's a huge market. But they're going to have a leg up. Draftkings is. They just have the infrastructure already. They're going to be first to market with all this great stuff that they're coming out with. There's some extra capital out there in the world, believe it or not, just because the stimulus check basically went to a lot of people. Okay, I'm not going to go over who it went to and who it didn't go to, but a lot of people that were still working and getting full pay got their stimulus checks. So that's just kind of like extra cash, and I'm kind of banking that the 18 to 45-year-old male demographic is going to dive into Draftkings heavily when sports come back in particular. You can still go on there and bet on certain things like soccer out in Europe or baseball in the KBO league, but it's not going to be until sports really come home here in the U.S. and we start playing that you're going to see Draftkings go up even more. So that's kind of my reasoning for getting Draftkings. I'm just a believer in that sector, in that marketplace, and I think there is a lot of money to be made for Draftkings, particularly early, by being this far ahead of the game to other competitors. I will say that I do not own Draftkings anymore. After I just gave that spiel, I do foresee myself getting Draftkings again, but I will explain why I do not have Draftkings in a later video. But I do want to buy it once again, but I ended up selling it. But again, Draftkings took up about half of that $1,000. That's my reasoning for getting Draftkings. After Draftkings, I decided to dive into, it is more of a value play. I decided to put about $250 into Bank of America. Bank of America has a great foundation. They're backed by larger corporations. I think they have a great structure in place to survive what's happening here. I do not think that people are going to stop buying homes. I do not think that people are going to stop reaching out for mortgages and loans and things of that nature. And even if they are on the slow side right now, eventually things are going to play out in the favor of a bank like Bank of America. This is more of a long play. I initially bought 11 shares at 22 and change, 22.86, which ended up being $251.46. I've since then have added 4 more shares to that portfolio. So again, small pickings, but you got to start somewhere, right? I don't have friggin' all the means in the world to just be chucking at the stock market, even though it's freaking fun. I understand why people are so addicted to this thing. But you have to stay prudent. You have to stay mindful and thoughtful with what you're doing and try to make the best decisions for you with what you see in front of you. And I think Bank of America was a really good value play at 22. I think that's a really good buy. Very undervalued. So I actually really dig that. That's going to be a long play with me. One of 3 stocks now that I hold, I believe. 3 stocks. I'm looking at my portfolio now. 3 stocks that I hold that I feel like I'm going to hold for a really, really, really long time. Now that I have about $750 gone, I have $250 left. What am I going to do? Well, let's go check out another sector that stocks are down, and they're down, really down, because of what's going on, because of the world that we live in at the moment. That's the airline business. And after studying the airlines, I thought Southwest, goodbye. Great value. Their debt is really low. I think when people start flying again, they're going to want to fly on airlines who have the means and the capacity to provide a cleaner flying experience, a better flying experience. I think that the infrastructure of Southwest allows them to do that. And I think when people fly again, they are going to be really willing to spend the extra $10, $20, $30, $40, $50 on a ticket if it means it guarantees a prudent, it guarantees them a prudent format in which the employees of Southwest are going to be vigorously cleaning throughout the cabin in between. And I think they're set up very, very well to come back more than any other airline. So I ended up buying, where is Southwest? I ended up buying 7 shares at $27.15 a share for Southwest. With the remaining dollars, which ended up being about $55, that we're now at about $9.45, I just said, screw it. I know American Airlines looks terrible, high debt. They scream bankruptcy as a company, but it's $55. Let's play it out. I do not own American Airlines anymore. I ended up buying 5 shares at $10.62, and I ended up selling it after this airline boom that we got this past week. I ended up selling very close to $20 a share. I can give you the exact figure of what I sold it at. American Airlines sold. Where am I? Sorry, I did not plan on checking this. I ended up selling American Airlines at $19.38. So I bought a tick over 10 and I sold a tick under 20, and I basically doubled. Almost 100% of the investment came back. I do not like their business sheets. I think they're screwed, quite frankly, unless they get a major bailout, which they might. But I think they're screaming bankruptcy. So I saw the 100% return. I said, hey, I'll just, take that. Peace out, American. But that was my strategy there with America. I basically took that money and added to the Bank of America portfolio, the extra $50-$60 that I got in return. I took that and bought a couple more shares of Bank of America. Bank of America, I now own 15 shares in my portfolio. So that ended up growing in a positive direction due to that boom last week. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Again, small pickings, but you gotta start somewhere. So that's how I invested my next $1,000. I hope this video brought some value to you. More than anything, I hope it brought you some peace in what the stock market is. And even if you only have a couple $100, even if you only have $100, okay, I think this is something that you should really dive in and educate yourself in. And it doesn't even have to be the stock market. You can open brokerages accounts. For me, I use TD Ameritrade. You can open it and just freaking throw that $100 into a Roth IRA, right? There are a lot of great benefits for Roth IRA. Maybe that's something I can touch upon in another video. But if you're able to save $100 a month and it's true savings, like true savings, you have those savings in there because of you want money when you retire, not an emergency saving, right? That may be a little bit different. A couple variables come into play there. But if you're putting away $100 a week in retirement and you're just putting it into some freaking savings account from your local bank that earns you 0.0000069 because they're hitting you up from behind %, go freaking open a Roth IRA. Put that money in a Roth IRA. Just my suggestion, especially if you don't have a 401k or anything like that. But that's a conversation for another day. Again, hope you liked the video. Do me a favor, smash that subscribe button, like, share, comment with anybody. And if you have questions or if you think I'm stupid, just let me know. Smash that dislike button. I don't even care. See you later.